And I was laying down and out of nowhere, my heart was pounding so hard. I literally thought I was going to die. What's up guys, Ferdinand here from wolfmuziek.com, and today I am going to tell you why I will never in my life smoke weed again. And I'm talking about marijuana, THC specifically. Trust me, I have a really bad experience with this shit, and I will not recommend you to do this unless your doctor is telling you you need to do it. But I'm no doctor. But before I tell my story, we're going to read a Reddit thread. And this is something I truly never do, but there are some funny stories on Reddit, and I think most people can also benefit from Reddit, to be honest. It's all experience of other people. Science is just telling us what we know and what is proven, but there are also other people who experience other things. Let's get into it. So the Reddit thread is called "Smoking Weed Once Ruined My Mental Health. Been straight edge for 6 years. Smoking weed once ruined my mental health." And this is an introduction, guys. I am currently 20 years old, and 6 years ago I smoked a lot of weed and completely freaked out. Ever since that night, my life has completely changed. Guys, if you hear my story, it's absolutely insane. I will just never forget that day, but I will tell you about it at the end. Before I continue, I am not trolling. Please don't try and defend marijuana. I'm actually all for weed being legal. I wish it was as accepted 6 years ago, so I could have been informed more on how to safely consume it. Anyway, here's my story. Background. Growing up, my dad, sister and all my cousins smoked weed, and I was introduced to it by them. Can you even imagine that you're introduced to weed because of your dad and sister? Like, my dad is like Middle Eastern. If he knew I would do shit, he would throw a shoe in my face, you know? After hearing all these cool things about it, I decided to save up some money to buy some myself. My first time was with friends who had experience with it. I think I would never dare to do it myself, just with no one there that doesn't have experience with it. But yeah, everyone has other effects. I can still remember the first time I did it. You're going to think, what the hell was this guy doing? The first time I did it, I was 13 years old. 13. And I'm 24 right now. Can you even imagine? Guys, I was such a moron back in the past. I smoked when I was like 13 years old. It was insane. I literally just got tobacco and did this myself at 13 years old. Like rolling up cigarettes and shit. Why? Because I thought it was cool and I was hanging with the wrong people. But yeah, it was all in the past. I changed, and I can just, if I look back into the past, I can see how stupid I was. But I can tell you, the first time I did it, I really enjoyed the experience. I was laughing the whole day, but I did not have worries around that age, you know. It was very different. My mental state was also much better that time because I didn't give a shit. I just did what the fuck I wanted. So I guess it didn't really have negative effects on me around that time. But so this is the night my life changed. Fast forward 6 months. I finally got enough money for an eighth. I had paid my sister some money to get it off one of her friends. She gave me the bag and we smoked that night. I didn't feel any effect. The next night I wasn't planning on smoking, but it seemed like a perfect night. My mom was gone. My dad was working the next morning, so he was in bed early, and my little brothers were upstairs sleeping. I texted my sister. She told me where the stash was, told me to be careful, and hung up. I got the weed, packed a really big bowl, about 1 gram, and smoked it all by myself. The effects hit. Guys, I gotta tell you, 1 gram of weed is a lot, especially if you do it in one joint. And you're probably thinking, how do you do that? Well, you can smoke it pure. And that is something that I did. Alright, I hate tobacco. I I just hate smoking. I never smoke like perpetually, alright? So the last 5 years, whenever I smoked a joint, it was always pure. And I would do it in 4 months or 5 months, maybe 2 times a year. I just did it because I thought it was fun around that time, and I literally got weed, the amazing haze, one of the strongest shit, and I just smoked 1 gram by myself. Can't even imagine the effect it had on me. It was insane. I really felt that, so I'm really curious how this guy experienced it. I immediately felt the urge to run to my bed after 5 minutes of smoking it. I couldn't move at all. My mouth was dried out completely. Oh, I know that feeling. Oh my god. My ears were ringing super loud. My heart was beating out of my chest and my head absolutely killed. At 14 years old, I was truly convinced that was gonna be the last night of my life. Memories of my childhood run through my head. Then, like a movie, was my family crying at the scene of me dying at my funeral. I always have known you can't die from weed, but I was convinced it was over for me. I was having a full-blown panic anxiety attack. All these weird things kept happening, and after about 20-30 minutes, things started to get better. But my head really hurt. I was still nervous because my heart was beating fast and my mouth was dried out. I fell asleep that night. The next morning, I woke up the next day for school. I immediately looked for my phone and took a picture of myself. One of my eyes looked lazy, but I was happy to be alive. I immediately got up and got dressed for school. I felt good. I told my mom I loved her and I went to the bus. Thought the day of school thoughts keep recurring about the night before. It was all weird to me. I felt kind of dazed, but I just figured it was because of my experience the night before. I talked to my friends about and they laughed. Can you even imagine, hey, what did you do yesterday? Well, I smoked a gram of weed and I was tripping, my heart was pumping out of my chest and shit. Hey, your friends just laughing. You realize life was not meant to be taken for granted. I want to live each day like my last. I text my sister about how crazy the night was and how I'm never smoking again in my life. And I can see this with a lot of people. If you have an experience like this, you just never want to do it again. And I had this exact same effect. And I just don't want to touch it anymore. I get paranoid as f because of weed. I will never do it again. One funny thing, and this was not the last time, alright? But if you really want to laugh, I actually made a video where I smoked weed and worked out and tell you my entire experience. I filmed high in the gym. Watch it here. It was a pure amnesia haze that I smoked. Guys, train with that shit. It's so weird. I will just never do it again. I had the feeling that people were watching me and they knew I smoked a lot of weed. It was so weird, guys. It was so weird. I never recommend you working out with weed, to be honest, but some people have good effects with like running. They call it the runner's high, that they run and they do not really have the feeling that they are running. They're just in their own space and they're running and they do not really have a problem with running. A lot of marathon runners do it. Due to this experience, here are at least of things I struggle with. Self-diagnosis, depersonalization, and derealization. My symptoms are 100% accurate. Anxiety and not depression. I don't think, but a lot more sadness. Dwelling on the past, I've never drank alcohol because of this. I have smoked weed again after this and had a good time. Still had anxiety, only took 1 hit. But it hasn't fixed anything. I will not be smoking again. I'm afraid to feel anything other than sober. If I feel slightly different, like a head rush or something, I go into full-blown panic mode. Social anxiety, I think, because months after the experience, I spent a lot of time to myself and kind of forgot how to socialize. So this guy really did not have a good experience with it. And I will tell you my story. So I have this friend that used CBD oil. There are some health benefits to CBD oil for anxiety and stuff, but I will not get into that in this video. So he was taking CBD a lot. But one day, a family member of him, they actually had THC drops. Yeah, those exist as well. Especially here in the Netherlands. You can just get it in Amsterdam. You can go here. You can get weed cookies. You can get everything. It's legal here. He thought it was CBD, so he took it and he was getting high after 2 drops. He told me like, I just got high because of this shit. I thought it was CBD. I don't want it. So he gave it to me. I wanted to try it, alright? Because I did not really had a lot of problems with THC that time. Of course, the absorption is very differently compared to smoking. So when I got the THC oil, first off, I took 2 drops, taking it easy. And I was waiting for like 1 hour. And I thought to myself, why am I not feeling anything? This shit doesn't work. The drops, you don't really feel it, to be honest. And maybe what I thought were 2 drops actually were maybe 4 drops. So I took like 4 drops or something. I was waiting an hour. I did not feel anything. After that, my girlfriend would come by. I thought to myself, I want to feel this shit. I don't want to feel it, alright? For what am I taking if I didn't feel anything? I literally took like 8 drops. You can even imagine, I counted like 8. It was a lot, guys. So I was laying on the couch with my girlfriend came along, and out of nowhere. So I was fine, alright? So I walked to the bathroom. I had to pee. I was walking, and out of nowhere it hit me so hard. I was just walking slowly to the bathroom. I just wanted to pee. And guys, the effect, it was like I had an entire journey, like a trip of 1 hour to the freaking bathroom. It was so weird. I never felt something like that. So I walked back. I had the same effect. And I told my girlfriend, like, I am definitely tripping right now. I am tripping so hard. And I was laying down, and out of nowhere, my heart was pounding so hard. I literally thought I was going to die. My girlfriend even told me, whoa, your heart is beating so fast. I really regretted the decision. I got so anxious, paranoid. I thought by myself, like, why am I doing YouTube? Everyone can watch me, everything thinks I'm a moron, everything. Guys, the things that would go in my mind, it was crazy. I was so anxious and paranoid. That day I thought by myself, like, I will never touch it again. I maybe took 1 hit of a joint, and I just experienced the same effect of what I had with the THC. I got so paranoid and shit. And guys, that shit, I hate it. I will not touch it anymore. And I recommend you not to touch it as well. There are other things that weed can do, like raising prolactin levels and all that shit. It can even give you gyno and stuff. And you know, you're also at risk for getting psychosis. Psychosis is a bad mental disorder. You hear things and you see things that just aren't there. But I will not get too deep into that because this video is, I think it's pretty long. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I was just told you my personal experience. And trust me, watch the video of me working out in the gym high. I was so freaking weird. But I edited the video pretty well. So have a look and have some fun. Like the video, subscribe, and I see you next time, guys. Love all of you and much love.